talk about something interesting. So that is theories of evolution. So coming to the theories of evolution, so Lamarckism or the theory of inheritance. So we have three theories. First theory is Lamarckism or the theory of inheritance of acquired characters. So coming to the Lamarckism or the theories of inheritance of acquired characters. So this theory was inheritance of acquired characters states that modification in an organism acquires in adaptation to environment. So modification has acquired for adaptation to the environment. So which means during the lifetime they are automatically handed over to its descendants. So this adaptation are automatically handed over to its descendants. A prominent French naturalist. So he is the prominent French naturalist. His name is Lamarck. He is a French naturalist. So proposed a theory in 1809. So through his work Philosophie Juridique, although his views of evolutionary mechanism has not found general acceptance. So not general acceptance. He occupies a major place in history of evolutionary thought because he is the one who brought the evolutionary thought. He was the first evolutionist to conclude that evolution is real and general fact covering all forms of life. So what is the first point he has given is use and disuse. So what is this use and disuse? Coming to this, environmental changes force the organism to make conscious effort to change themselves to suit the environment. Therefore, some organs are used, some organs are disused. The various organs become greatly improved through use or reduced to vestigial through disuse. So the produces a change in organism lifetime and it can be a acquired trait. So if you use it, so use the organ or modification of organ, it will be acquired or inherited to next generation. So if we don't use or disuse the organ, then it leads to vestigial. And the second one, inheritance of acquired characters. Coming to this point, inheritance of acquired characters, such acquired bodily modifications are inherited to future generations. Such inheritance leads to formation of new species. So modification, next generation, and new species. So classic example of Lamarckism is classic example of Lamarckism. So this is none other than, so you can see that such acquirely, so deer-like ancestors of giraffe lived in the areas with poor growth. So deer-like ancestors of giraffe. Okay, and they made conscious and the real effort to reach the tall trees. This habit over longer periods has been every individual of the race resulted in forelimbs become longer than the hind limbs and elongated necks. So these things, so deer like ancestors of giraffe, and giraffe finally had a elongated forelimbs and neck. So this is the classic example of Lamarckism. And next to the second one, coming to Darwinism or theory of natural selection. Right? So what is this Darwin theory and theory of natural selection? So Charles Darwin keep on observing the nature during his voyage in HMS Beagle from England to the east coast of South America, that one, to Galapagos Island. So he convinced him that the origin of new species due to natural selection. Darwin was influenced by George Lyell. Principles of Geology. And Thomas Malthus. Essay on Principles of Population. Essay on Principles of Population. Right? Darwin, through the observation of fossils and life form during his voyage, believed that existing organisms not only share the similarities of to varying degree, but also with the extinct ones. So similarities, you can very simple, similarities not only with existing ones, but also with extinct ones. So he came to a conclusion that organisms show descendant with modification and nature play a major role. So he viewed contrast sharply with popular special creation theory. Means they opposed the special theory. Alfred Russel Wallace, a naturalist who worked on Malay archipelago, came to the same conclusion on the evolution of Darwin. In 1958, Darwin and Wallace presented papers on Linnean Society of London. So a later year, in November 24, 1859, Charles Darwin published a book called Origin of Species. By publishing the book, a new era of evolutionary biology opened. So that's why we call him as a father of evolution. So Darwin-Wallace theory of natural selection is explaining the following points. So first thing is overproduction. So what is this overproduction is? All organisms have great reproductive potential. They have a tendency to increase the population exponentially. So, but however, the size of population remains stable except at the seasonal fluctuations. Because natural resources like space, food are limited. Struggle for existence. What is this struggle for existence is? So, organisms struggle for limited resources. Three different ways. Intraspecific struggle, which means between the same species. Interspecific struggle of different species. Extraspecific struggle between the organisms and physical environment. Most common thus resources, more intense is the struggle. So we have intraspecific struggle, interspecific struggle, and extraspecific struggle. And next point, survival for the fittest. So, during the struggle to exit, fit organisms survive. According to Darwin, various fitness are ultimately has the ability to adapt. Also, various fitness are ultimately evident as reproductive fitness. Means they leave more progenies behind. Next. Advantageous variation. So what is this advantageous variation is? Though the organisms resemble each other closely, they have small difference among themselves itself. These differences are called variation. Depending on the struggle, variation can prove to be advantageous, leading to survival of an organism. Disadvantageous, leading to perishing of an organism. Each population has organisms which has both type of variation, which when a struggle occur, organisms can pass down to the variation to their offsprings. Each struggle helps to differentiate between organism and thereby leading to branching descendants. So you can see what is branching descendants is. So you have species 1. And from species 1, you got species 2. From species 2, you got species 3. And from species 3, you got species 4. Species 3, 4. And from species 4, you got species 5. So this is branching descendants. And next thing is natural selection. So what is this natural selection is? The determiner for fitness in nature which put forth various struggles. Those only will be selected. Next thing is origin of species. Surviving of an organism accumulate advantageous variation in gradual directional manner and produces new species along a long course of time. So Darwinian theory has two key concepts. One is natural selection and branching descendants. So natural selection plus branching descendants. Next theory is Neo-Darwinism or The theory was developed by renowned scientists like Sewell Wright, Fisher, Muller, Huxley, Haldane, and many others. This new approach was organic evolution, we call it as, in light or new branches of biology like genetics, cell biology, molecular biology. The neo Darwinism based on three important principles. One is genetic variation, natural selection, and isolation. Natural selection, and third one is isolation. Variations and natural selections can be already explained by Darwin. The genetic basis of variation can be interpreted later. So, separation of single population into subunits called isolation, and it's an important factor for evolution. Isolation may be geographic or reproductive. So, individuals of such separated groups do not interbreed and cannot interbreed to produce fertile offsprings. Each group may be develop a set of new characters which lead towards the formation of new species. When the members of population occupy the same geographical region but cannot interbreed, it may lead to sympatric speciation. They occur due to reproductive isolation. If members of the population do not interbreed due to geographical barriers, it may lead to allopatric species. So, this occurs due to geographical isolation. So, if the things are present in the same geographical area but cannot interbreed, then this we call it as sympatric speciation. So, if this cannot interbreed due to geographical isolation, then we call it as allopatric. Speciation.